starting.
Yes, we're starting. Hello, I'm Jonas, and I'm here today with the hosting crew for the Micro Solidarity Summer Camp this year. And we're gonna hear a little bit about why they're super stoked to host the summer camp. And we're gonna do like a quick flashlight round of this is really what's present right now, and then we're gonna dive in deeper into those topics later on. So, yeah, who would like to kick us off? Maybe Jesse, how about you? What's the one thing that you find most exciting about hosting the summer camp?
Yeah, I mean, I think just gathering a ton of people together who are really all on the same wavelength is just really exciting to me. And I guess for me personally, I've never met in person any of the people who are going to be at this. And so I'm just very excited to like meet in person the 15 people that I've spent a gazillion hours on Zoom with and never actually like given a hug. So yeah, that's what I'm most stoked for.
Cool. Do you want to pass it on to someone?
Sure.
Happy to jump in.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah, so I think when I think about the micro solidarity events and gatherings that I've been to, like the summer camp last year outside Berlin, and also the winter retreat in Spain this year, there's just something special about hanging out with micro solidarity folk. And it's quite hard to put my finger on exactly, but there's something about an openness of depth of connection, the kind of expansiveness in the types of conversations that happen and explorations, and just the dynamism. So I'm just really excited and curious, like what happens when we bring a bunch of people from the network and our family and friends and lovers and collaborators together, and just set some conditions and see what wants to emerge from there. So very curious and excited.
Cool.
I can continue because that's
Yeah.
pretty much also what popped up in my head first. Is like meeting again in person the people that I met in the winter retreat, but at the same time meeting more people that I heard of or that are completely new. That's something that excites me, and I also enjoyed pretty much the vibe in the winter retreat, and I'm hoping to continue that or to create something, not the same, but something similar, something in the same, just, I don't know, I don't have the words, but yeah. Alex, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I share your excitement. I think I'm also really excited about the location we found for this year's event. Not that last year wasn't great, it was amazing, but there's just something about being in the forest, being in nature, and something about it being this place where people have been making art for like decades at this point, and we get to contribute to that, and we're like invited to do that. That feels really special to me. And so there's just something about bringing these people together in that special place, and I think it's going to be quite magical to do that.
Awesome.
I jump in as
Justin,
well.
do you want to add anything or?
Yeah. I think something I really enjoyed watching previous events and that I see in the network in general is how people step into a niche that excites them and practice a little bit more of like stepping into a leadership position and like taking ownership. And I think there's going to be a few more new people at this summer camp than before. And I'm always curious about how we can, as quickly as possible, like help people like that feel welcome and arrived. And it really has warmed my heart in the past, seeing how that just seems to happen when there's a critical mass of people who know how to do that well, and just the aliveness, like Sarah, you were saying, I can't put my finger on it, and it's always like, what is that thing? It's just, I think the aliveness of people being like, oh, I'm welcome here, and who can I be when I'm welcome? Yeah, that kind of energy. Yeah. I'm looking forward to bringing that myself and witnessing that happening. Yeah.
Can I just riff on that for a moment? Yeah, it's like we've all got so many skills, expertise, things that we're like passionate about and love to do. Even just like silly things like I love to play running and chasing games. And there's like a question when you go into new spaces, like, is there space for this here? Or even like not even like remembering that there's these different parts of ourselves because something about the environment doesn't invite that. And I think in like particularly at the summer camp last year, there really was that kind of sense of like an invitation to bring your wholeness and full self. And so whatever it is that you want to do, you can put on the table as an offering, and if it resonates, then people will be there. And then that just brings like such a diversity from like meditative walks to games to like big brainy discussions. So yeah, just it's really exciting, that kind of that invitation of wholeness.
Mm.
So as a person that has never heard about Microsolidarity or been to a summer camp, I'm really curious. That's not true, but if I was a person like this, at this point I'd be like, wow, this sounds really great, but what the hell is the purpose of this event? Like, besides having a good time, that sounds lovely, but it seems to be or it seems to aspire to be something more than just people wanting to have a good time. Does one of you maybe want to speak a bit to like the idea of gathering in person for a week? Like, what's the point? Yeah, like whoever feels called.
I'm happy to jump in. There is a need, I think, for the kinds of things that Microsolidarity is trying to bring into the world. I think so the key thing is about community building or building belonging or helping connections form. And like, so on the one hand, I think it's a bit of a training ground where you can just practice forming connections, coming into belonging or helping others belong, and community building. And then the idea is to not just do that there locally, and that's part of what the purpose feels like. It's just like, oh, it's like this incubator, it's this like place where this can like form, where the seeds can sprout or something, and then we throw them to wind, and people go back to the communities that they're already part of, or the maybe not quite communities that they would like to turn into communities, or the places where they feel like that maybe they nearly belong but not quite, and can take the things they learn from Microsolidarity and apply them there. I think that's a big thing that we're trying to do.
Awesome. And maybe someone wants to say a few words about like what is that going to look like in practice. I've already heard like there's going to be space for all of the different things, and like bring yourself in fully, and like kind of shape it the way you would like to. But like maybe someone wants to give us the kind of basics of like how is the day going to look like roughly? What's the idea behind or like how are you imagining to run the camp in a way? What can an average participant expect to experience on an average day at Microsolidarity Summer Camp?
So you're making us like get clear on our airy fairy nice words, Jonas.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, let me have a stab at this to begin, and then if anybody else wants to jump in. So the event is going to be for a week, from a Thursday until a Wednesday. Although if some people want to, they can just come for the long weekend, so the Thursday until the Sunday. And the camp will be bracketed with like opening and closing rituals at either end, or maybe rituals might be off-putting for some people, but opening circles to kind of mark the opening of our coming together, and just to have a chance to all stand around and like look at each other across the circle, and kind of set the stage. And then on the first full day, we'll do some getting to know each other a little bit. We will also introduce open space, so we'll have an open space agenda throughout the camp, so that yeah, we can kind of see what the needs are in the room, what are the wishes in terms of what people are wanting to bring, and just respond to that. And there'll be most likely a party on the Saturday night, and we would love instruments and singers and people that play electronic music, or yes, something will happen on Saturday night which we will co-create. Yeah, I think that's maybe a little bit of a taster. Anybody want to come in with anything that maybe Miriam or Jesse or something about how the cooking will be organized?
Sure, yeah, I can speak to that. We've talked about this a fair amount. It's kind of funny how much we've talked about cooking, considering that it's only one aspect of the whole camp, but I feel like it's a pretty important one and a cool opportunity for people to sort of be on the same team, because there's a lot of cooking to do, and you have, 30 to 50 or maybe more people in the same place eating 3 meals a day for a week. And so we're going to have a couple people kind of leading, but it's going to be fun kind of organizing everyone into crews to help with the cooking and the cleaning. And I've definitely found in previous sort of group events that's been a pretty powerful kind of time to meet people and hang out and bond over just like having to deal with the everyday stuff that you still have to deal with, even if you're at like a special week. And so if you feel really inspired to come help us with the cooking, we're all ears.
There's also...
yeah, and sorry.
Go ahead, Miriam. No, you say.
I just wanted to add that we'll be resourcing, like, not a majority, but a lot of the ingredients locally from the land or from the property. That's also something I'm super happy about, and that excites me a lot, that we'll be actually harvesting like seasonal veggies and fruits and then use them to cook with it, and thereby also learn about the land and the vegetation and everything. That's pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, and one of the Microsolidarity, I don't know, staples or something, or crews and pods. So one of the crews or pods. So one of the things we want to do is make it really easy for people to come together in these small groups that are like a playground for connection, and also like can be like a nice support system, maybe if you're having a rough time at the event. Or maybe can even be, I'm playing around with the idea, maybe we can have the pods contribute to the place, right? So one of the ideas for this year is have a contribution to the place. There's the idea of a pizza oven. There's an idea of making a sculpture similar to other sculptures that are there on the thing. And yeah, so playing around with the idea, maybe the pods could be the organizing thing to make that happen. It's not set in stone yet, but yeah. So we'll bring people together in these small groups of maybe 3-4 people at the start of the event, and then have those sort of continue throughout the event, so that you maybe, if you're new, you still have some people that you can connect with, or if you're sort of not a newcomer, that you get nudged a little bit out of your group and don't hang out with the same people all the time, but maybe some others. Yep.
Cool. I'm getting really, really excited over here hearing you talk about it. I'm like, yeah, right, that's gonna happen. Jocelyn, you also had a question. Do you want to come in with it now, or?
Yeah, I guess I was curious, because in Microsolidarity sort of groups, we often talk about this word vibe, and it can sort of stand for what's the feeling in the space, what's the energy between people, and I find that quite a useful, or like a significant thing to focus on, like how are we together, and what's it like, what does it feel like? I think that's also something else that's quite like central to these events. So I'd be curious to ask you all, like, if you could what kind of words would you use to describe the vibe that you're looking to create or hoping that will sort of arise during the time together at the summer camp coming up?
One word that comes to me is a warm-heartedness. And it's not to say that there won't be tension. And you know, we see also tension, it can also be productive, but there's something in my experience around being in like micro solidarity groups of this warm-heartedness, open-heartedness, and I can imagine that will be something that's very much part of the vibe. Yeah, I'll just share that word for now.
Nice, warm-heartedness.
I think there's a playfulness also often, like there's a lot of, I've also found in like micro solidarity discussions that often something fairly serious is getting discussed, but everyone's also kind of giggling about it. And I appreciate that a lot and hope to kind of bring that to the space in whatever way I can.
True.
I'm gonna go with assist or collaboration. So like just the image of an assist in football, where it's like, there's one person that's scoring the goal, but really important is also the person that passes the ball at the right time to the other person. So it's not just pure collaboration, but this kind of like being a team player and like sort of aiming to elevate others or something. That's something that for me is very core to the micro solidarity vibe, and that I find amazing. It makes it so much easier to do cool stuff and have a good time too. How can I set you up for success? Great.
I want to repeat what I think, Jocelyn, you said before, because that's literally what I felt very strongly in the winter retreat. And it's this feeling of I'm welcome, even though nobody of these people has ever seen me before or knows me very well, like maybe from some meetings, but I really feel strongly that I can be whoever I want. And then like that's a feeling that you usually don't have in everyday life, or I at least usually don't have it that strongly. So it really triggered this, oh my God, and who am I then? And who can I be? And that's, very energizing and very, inviting to discover also. And so this.
Nice. Thanks, Joel. Yeah. Jonas, did you want to add something?
I like, now that I'm not asking the question, I would love to also answer it.
Sprinkle your words.
The thing that struck me last summer camp, and it's a bit similar to what Miriam just said. This idea of like, hey, somehow it feels like belonging, the currency of belonging. There's a kind of universal basic income of belonging for everyone here. Like everyone just gets some. You just belong. And then we go from there, and we build on that, and we use that that sense of, I can be safe here, I can be my full self. There's a lot of space in other people to hold me, and I also try give my best to make space to hold other people and kind of accommodate their quirks and get curious about each other's quirks, and then from that there's huge potential to do stuff, that is something that's super core to me when I think about the micro solidarity vibe.
Thank you.
How about you, Jocelyn? Do you want to answer your own question?
Sure. They all resonate with me so much, what you've all said. But I guess, maybe similar to the assist and the welcoming and the warm-heartedness is curiosity. I find curiosity for, how can we, what's possible between us, or how can we support one another? What's possible in our, if there's you and me, what if it's blue and green, blue and yellow, what's the green? So curiosity for potential possibility. And I noticed that very much in the vibe of the network so far, and looking forward to that as well. Thank you.
Awesome.
I want
I
to
have
add
one more
one more
question.
thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, go ahead. Let's
Right,
chew
right.
on this a bit longer.
Doing There's like implied in what all of us have said, but maybe not explicit. I felt there was a groundedness, which felt a little bit different. Like I'd been in like authentic relating spaces before, and there's often a warm-heartedness and like a willingness to collaborate that's quite similar in a bunch of ways. But one of the things I liked about micro solidarity was that there also was a groundedness, oh, I'm also going to look out for myself, or like it's fine to like retreat and take my time if I need it, or it's fine to go into conflict and like have a bit of friction to then resolve it or something. These kind of things. Somehow that came up as we were talking about. Yeah, that I also really appreciated that.
Mhm.
Can I also just check in on something for any male identifying people in this call? I also like I think I see something different often at micro solidarity gatherings in terms of like ways of being, and I think one of them has probably many of them have a gender element, but yeah, I like notice like big men in full big hugs with one another, and a kind of a gentleness and a tenderness and again a warm-heartedness between men. And I don't see that so often in other parts of my life, and it for me I find it very like heartwarming, and it puts me at ease as well. And I just wondered, like, does that resonate with male identifying people in this group?
I'm definitely a big hugger.
Yeah, somehow it does. And I think it is like a kind of double coin, maybe, or like two sides of the same coin. Because it like on the one hand, tenderness is invited, but it's not mandatory. Like as a man, you can also I don't know, carry heavy shit around if you enjoy doing that, or like do more
And
of
so will
some more of
I.
these like stereotypical male things, which like in other spaces, I don't know. I'm often like a lot of my friends are queer feminists and super lefty, and there I don't feel so comfortable doing some of these more stereotypically male things. But in micro solidarity, I feel like there's a kind of there's space for like people's desires in a way, and people's the ways they want to be and show up. And if I yeah, like if that tickles my fancy, I don't worry about whether that's appropriate or not. At the same time, there's a lot of kind of tenderness and yeah, gentleness somehow, and that is also great. And it kind of feels very healthy in a way, this balance. Yeah. And I really think it's like one can be present because the other can also be present. And it's not like you gotta be this way, otherwise you're a macho or something. Yeah. I have one more question. What was the question? Aha. So what are you personally hoping to do at summer camp? Like, what's your kind of, maybe it's a growth edge that you want to explore, maybe it's just like a silly thing you want to do, maybe it's a conversation you want to have with someone, or like a topic you want to explore. I'm just curious if there's something you already know of, if you want to share.
I could jump in. So I think, yeah, Jonas just shared something about this on Twitter where we were sharing a bit about the camp and talking about it there. And it was about so Jonas and I were in the hosting team last year for the last summer camp, and together with Uta and Dan was also, he was the kitchen lead, and Rich was sort of our mentor because he had more experience than me and Jonas, and yet was giving us the space to step up and practice our own leadership and step into that role of hospitality. And then the challenge I put for myself, and Jonas also put for himself this year, was more to like support another group of people to host this year's one. So be the meta host and like step into the role that Rich was doing. So that's what we've been doing for you guys. And that's been my growth edge so far. Like how to step in, but also give space, and like how do you do that, actually supporting someone else into leadership in a healthy way. So that will continue, I think, during the event itself. So like it's almost having this lens of like being attuned to my body and how it feels in the space, and sensing how the group is, and then not jumping in myself, but more like attuning to how's the hosting team doing, and like what do they need to support the rest. That's quite a interesting practice for me, and we've been talking a lot about this successional leadership, or I think I coined the term hermit crabbing in the last winter camp, where we take on the next shell of responsibility or leadership capacity, and offer that shell to the other people coming through. And how can I support those people who want to step into more leadership to step into that if I know how to do that level of leadership at that point? Does that make sense? Yeah, how to empower successional leadership.
I just want to get my hands dirty. Like I'm gonna be playing with the construction materials for the contribution. I can get a bit heady. I have a bit of a struggle with having too much screen time and whatever, and so I'm really looking forward to just getting in the mud or getting in the whatever to build stuff and have something real to look back on after the week. One thing. How about you, Miriam?
Yeah, now that you're saying getting your hands dirty, I'm also like getting more and more curious about organizing the kitchen, or helping to organize the kitchen, and also planning the meals. I'm pretty curious about learning how to actually cook for hopefully around 50, or I don't know how many people. So it's an amount of people for sure. Even if it's 20, it's higher than the groups I've ever cooked for. So I'm getting curious on how this actually works. But also, of course, what Jocelyn was saying, I'm still at the stage where I'm just super, super nervous about how my role will be there. But my in an ideal world, I will transform this nervousness into a positive feeling and just being super excited, and then practice, hopefully without stressing out about it completely, my facilitation skills and talking in front of people, which is, I think, probably my biggest fear. And so it's pretty exciting to just overcome it and try out. And then that's definitely also a big part, or the biggest part of my excitement.
Holding tenderness for your nervous parts, and also like resonating as well with parts of that. So last year at the summer camp, I remember one walk on a nice evening with Jonas around some fields, and just having this thought of like, I want to do this next year. I want to host this. This sounds like really fun and exciting, and to go be alongside that journey, Jonas and Jocelyn, like because we're good friends and hanging out quite a lot. I just thought this looks really exciting, and yeah, to go back to this hermit crab mode of leadership, I have this feeling of like, yeah, this is the next shell that I'm wanting to step into. And I think even the act of like stepping forward and saying like Miriam and I to begin, like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna organize this, we're gonna host it, yeah, was both exciting and scary and growthful. And yeah, I just have a lot of excitement about the whole these next few weeks, or 7 weeks or so, as we finish organizing, and then just showing up and yeah, enjoying like reading like, hey, what's happening in this group, and what are the little tweaks that we can make as the hosting team, and with what you and with what you, Jonas, and Jocelyn are seeing that we can do to kind of help this group come together and yeah, make great stuff, support great stuff to emerge. Yeah. And last year I also hosted a very fun discussion workshop called Let's Talk About Sex, and so which was well received, and I may do that again this year. I'm excited for that if there's energy for that. All right, I'm said my piece now.
I think I'm most excited to just be like a facilitation apprentice. I'm very comfortable being the like behind the scenes orchestrator of stuff, and that is the role that I'm usually in. And so I'm stoked, just sort of like, or some combination of stoked and terrified to like be in front of people talking about stuff, kind of, as Miriam said. Yeah, and also very excited to build some stuff. That sounds excellent. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of different, it feels like there's a lot of different roles for each person that each person like could take on. I think it's kind of fun that you get to do a little choose your own adventure, like take on whichever things you are really excited about, and other people seem to inevitably be excited about the things that I am not as well. So it's fun to just have the milieu of people kind of doing a bunch of different stuff together.
Awesome.
I would love to add one more thing that I just remembered, because I'm also super excited about the open space sessions. Actually, now that Sarah mentioned her workshop from last year, I have some topics in my head lately that I would love to discuss with some people, and I have this hope that I will find people who are interested in it as well at the camp. Yeah, they are not yet fully developed, but until then, in 7 weeks, I will have some ideas, and I will ask people, hey, would you maybe be open to do a session on this or that, or maybe the topics come up at the dinner table anyways, and then we decide to talk about it. And I think that's one of the things that make it so great, that it's through the open space sessions shaped by the people and what they contribute. Like, yeah, so it will just be whatever people who are there want to do and need and want to discuss and need to discuss. And yeah, that's something that excites me. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, you're not alone in that excitement. Cool. I'd say before we wrap up, maybe just a note to say that like these are just some things that the people that already are kind of super locked in on going there and know that they're going to be there for sure because they're organizing it. Hence, they spend a lot of time thinking about what they might want to be doing, are coming up with. That was a very long sentence. But a lot of things can happen there. You can bring your own. Also, if you're like, ooh, this sounds cool and I want to share it with someone, you can like bring your friends. There's still heaps of space in the camp. And with that, maybe one of you wants to like just summarize the kind of hard facts: when, where, how to buy a ticket, until when to buy a ticket. Sarah, I nominate you.
Cool. Okay, so it is happening about 1.5 hours by public transport outside of Vienna in Austria. It's kicking off on Thursday, the 29th of August, and you can stay just for the weekend until the Sunday, or you could stay until the Wednesday. the 4th. You can find more information about the camp, the vibes on the Micro Solidarity website, and from there link to Open Collective to buy a ticket. We have different ticket prices to allow for and reflect different financial situations. So if you are able to go for one of the higher tickets, that supports our scholarship, and that's fantastic. And if you're needing one of the lower tier tickets, then please go for that and come along and join. Any other specifics I'm missing out at this stage? I think just to say, if you know you're going to come, then please do get your ticket shortly so that that will support us with planning. And again, just to reinforce what Jonas says, like we will collectively create the vibe. So if you want people to be there, get them along, invite them personally, share all the details. And we're just really excited for this co-creation to kick off.
Awesome. Thanks for taking the time to share all of this, and thank you for organizing it. I must say, one of the things that's most exciting to me as well, besides supporting you to host, is to be a participant. I do a lot of facilitation hosting in a lot of different spaces, and I'm just so stoked to be a participant. And I'm really, really grateful for your guys' work. And can't wait for it to materialize.
Thanks so much for
Cool.
hosting us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. And bye-bye.
See you there.
See you at the event.
Bye.